Walk with me.
Save me, O my God, for the waters are come up unto my soul. I sink deep in mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying, my throat is dried, my eyes fail while I wait for my God. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restore that which I took not away. O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. Let not them that wait on thee, O Yahweh, God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake, and let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O Yahweh of Israel. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach, shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me. Then when I wept, I chastened my soul with fasting. That was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and I became a proverb to them. And they that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was a song of drunkards. But as for me, my prayer is unto thee, O Yahweh, in an acceptable time, O God. In the multitude of thy mercy, hear me. In the truth of thy salvation, deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep pit, deep water, should I say. Let not the flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Yahweh, for thy loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of thy tender mercies, and hide not thy face from thy servant, for I am in trouble. Hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul and redeem it. Deliver me because of my enemies. Thou hast known my reproach and my shame and my dishonor. My adversaries are all before thee. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I look for some to take pity, but there is none for comforters, but I found none. And they gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Let their table become a snare, and before them that which should have been for their wayfare. Let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold upon them. And let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents, for they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those who thou hast wounded. A Psalm of David, Psalm chapter 69. Deliver me from the hands of the evil spirits that have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seat forever, that we go not astray henceforth and evermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, I like that Psalm 69. That's pretty good. Yes. I see the fact that even in this Psalms, you have Christianity which try to say that when he says that they gave me gall to drink for my meat, and my thirst they gave vinegar. This is talking about their Isis. Far from it. That's David. David was talking about, and then why would Isis, who says, forgive them for they know not what they do, but yet he turns around even right here, if he's prophesying, why is he saying, hey, take vengeance on my enemies? Huh? Come on here. We got a problem here. See, the scriptures are steadily showing that a lot of the things that they try to prove of this Isis who God has sent, the prophet, the promised prophet from Moses, Isis is not him. Isis was made up, to tell you the truth. Isis was made up, or your Jesus, as transliterated, was made up from different segments of sayings and everything, different segments of the Old Testament. And then the letters that were sent were doctored to make you think that, hey, the law is passed. There is no law. But we stay with the law in the Old Testament, because the fact is that the new letters cannot overthrow the law that was given to Moses, which God had proved by strong signs and wonders. More than that your Isis have even proved. I mean, even his prophets were raised from the dead, and then one of the prophets was so anointed that when he was buried, when he died, the anointing from him raised another from the dead. So what are you talking about? That's nothing new. What are you talking about? Now, there's a time, now when he raised you from the dead, if you have been right, according to the book of Daniel, then that's something. Now, even when they point where say Jesus said, I shall raise him up, and Jesus can't raise nobody up. It's God that does all things. Your Isis, or whatever you call him, your Yahushai or whatever, he cannot raise anyone from the dead. He's not God. God wouldn't even have laid with his own creation. Even when he forbidded the angels to do it in the book of Enoch and the book of Genesis. Why would God go against his own law, his own forbiddance, to lay with a woman, or even charge a spirit to lay with him, or a spirit, or the spirit that is holy that you talk about? I mean, make sense of this. How can that doesn't make sense? Doesn't make any spiritual sense, biblical sense, or no sense. We've been bamboozled, fooled, lied to. Those things are not true. These were men who studied the Bible vehemently, and they were just there day and night trying to figure out how to deceive not only their people, but also the people of Africa and America. Make it make sense. Makes no sense. And then they tell you to go, you talk to the theologians, oh, you have to take the Bible in context. Well, there is the context, but where did you get the pretext? And then some of you don't even know what they say pretext here, line upon line, here upon there a little, here a little. You don't even know what that is. When you go back into it, you find out that he's just talking about the law. Everything is weighed by the law is what he's talking about. Now, let's get away from that. Now, we're in the book of Jasher. But anyway, you like my little mic. I ordered from the TikTok shop. I said, well, eventually when I travel, this will go with me. I'll just checking it, playing with it and everything. And we thank God with a cheer. Yes, we thank God with a cheer. And we thank the Most High for those of you who have been with us from the beginning, and also my hand clap of praise. Yes, we thank God that for those of you who have been with us from the beginning, and those of you who have been with us thereafter, here and there's about. We thank God for you. Yes, we do. And we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed, or those of you who have just followed. We thank God for you also on this platform and those shared platforms. And we thank the Most High for those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, all praises to the Most High, who is creator of all heaven and all earth. Yes, all praises to his holy name. We're in the book of Jasher, chapter 84. Now, before we find out, Joseph revealed himself to his brothers. Joseph revealed himself to his brothers, and they all came upon him and loved him. And his older brothers, they were feeling sorry before that when they saw the sorrow of their father, because they loved their father. I mean, what would make you think when your father loved you and raised you from a boy, but yet he has younger ones? These should get the most attention. You old, you done experienced his love. You know he loves you. Or every now and then he might reassure you that he loves you. Although you have been, some of you got other mothers and all this other things, it doesn't matter. If the Father loves you, the Father loves you regardless. You never see him. You don't know what the story why you never saw your father, or why all you hear is what your mother told you. And you think every woman is going to tell the truth? Even if she calls herself a Christian or whatever. There could have been some type of remorse or bitterness she has, but she's going to tell you something that is not true. So you have to find out this for yourself. Your father didn't have nothing to do with the relationship between your mother and him. Now you got to make that make sense now. Your father had nothing to do between your mother and himself. No, if he didn't hurt you or nothing like that, if he didn't cause y'all to kick y'all out and didn't take care of y'all or nothing like that, then your father, it was between your mother and him. It's none of your business what they did. It's none of your business. That's between your father and your mother. You stay out of grown folks' business, even if you're my age still. They grown compared to you. Stay out of grown folks' business. All right. Verse 84. And he sent to his sister Dinah. We continue on with what Joseph was doing, sending for his father, even, tell him you're welcome. Come on to Egypt. Come on to the land of Goshen, where you can sit down and relax your feet. I got corn. I got stuff I done saved up that's going to fill everybody's belly, and we still got enough to even fill the world as we know it in that day. Now, and he sent to his sister Dinah garments of silver and gold and frankincense and myrrh and aloes and women's and ornaments in great plenty. And he sent the same from the wives of Pharaoh to the wives of Benoni. Oh, wow. I mean, he dressed them women up to make their husband look back and say, oh, my. Yeah. And he gave unto all his brethren and also to their wives all sorts of onyx stones and bdellium, and from all the valuable things amongst the great people of Egypt. Nothing of all the costly things was left but what Joseph sent to his father's household. Yes. And he sent his brethren away, and they went, and he sent his brother Benoni with them. Go with your brothers. And Joseph went out with them to accompany them on the road. See, he knew Benoni was going to tell the truth. That was my brother. My brother was there. We all, even if his brothers were wicked and they lied, but Benoni was going to tell the truth. And Joseph went out with them to accompany them on the road. Isn't that the way you're supposed to be? I've had neighbors that had come, and some would even walk with you, or they'll come out to the edge of the house still waving you goodbye. Not because they wanted you to leave, but because they were sad you left and they were really glad you came. Yes. And that's what you call hospitality, and that's what you call a heart pure toward you. It may not be toward everybody else, but now if they did that for everybody, they really have a pure heart. They didn't think no evil people until they did evil. Now this was hospitality. Yes. Why should I think evil of you when you never done anything evil to me, or that I have not heard of any evil that you've done? Yeah, the world has really been bamboozled by the spirits that have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. Very bamboozled. We don't trust each other. We don't trust each other at all, even when your child has lied on your neighbor that he didn't do nothing or she didn't do nothing. Your neighbor whacked him, and you get all mad like some, should I say, badger or a she-bear that don't even know got any sense. Your neighbor or your best friend down the street told you what this child had done, and you still ain't paid no attention to it. Wicked. It takes a village to raise a child, and most people are not going to lie on a child. People even known by their doings. In verse 87, and Joseph went out with them to accompany them on the road unto the borders of Egypt, and he commanded them concerning his father and his household to come to Egypt. And he said unto them, do not quarrel on the road, for this thing was from the I am to keep a great people from starvation. He said, don't worry about it. I know what God is doing. It was foolish to me at first, but I didn't understand. But now I understand why God did it, to keep you from starvation, although he didn't know the whole plan of God from that. But then he told Abraham, he told Isaac, and he told Jacob. Yes, he did. Hallelujah. Glory. He told them about this thing. He said to keep a great people from starvation, and there will be yet 5 years of famine in the land. Come on now. They already finished 2. And he commanded them, saying, when you come into the land of Canaan, do not become suddenly before my father in this affair, but act in your wisdom. In other words, deal with them, but do it as he is your father. And Joseph ceased to command them, and he turned and went back to Egypt, and the sons of Jacob went to the land of Canaan with joy and cheerfulness to their father. Oh, look what we got. Look what Joseph gave us. I mean, the man could have fell over. But either way, here it goes, verse 91. And they came unto the borders of the land, and they said to each other, what shall we do in this matter before our father? For if we come suddenly to him and tell him the matter, he will be greatly alarmed at our words and will not believe us. And they went along until they came nigh unto their houses, and they found Sirach, the daughter of Asher, going forth to meet them. And the damsel was very good and subtle, and knew how to play upon the harp. Uh-oh, they're going to use some divination here. And they called unto her, and she came before them, and she kissed them. And they took her and gave her a harp, saying, go now before our father and sit before him and strike upon the harp. Let's soften him up and speak these words. Verse 94. And they commanded her to go to their house, and she took the harp and hastened before them. And she came and sat near Jacob. Now she knows she was well, this child or young lady knew she was well protected by her uncles. I mean, battle-hardened uncle. She didn't have a worry in the world, because she was covered. See, this is why family is so important and why they broke up your family, woman. They sent the man away and you walked away, and you didn't even think about it. You didn't struggle through the hardships and the pains of family life and all these other things. And some of you, even if you knew it was to your best interests, in order to raise your families, you wouldn't even allow a sister wife to even come. But you rather make your husband and your companion those in public housing. Okay, let me continue. And she continued to repeat and uttered these words, and Jacob heard her words, and they were agreeable to him. He liked it. And he listened while she repeated them twice and thrice, and joy entered the heart of Jacob at the sweetness of her words and the bitterness, and the Spirit of God was upon him, and he knew all her words be true. It's something about music. I mean, even to talk with music, and, you know, even a background of music is good. Yes, music. And Jacob blessed Sirach. And when she spoke these words before him, he said unto her, my daughter, yes, may death never prevail over thee, for thou hast revived my spirit. Only speak yet before. It's just like a word. Somebody come and sing to you a good spiritual song, or a song uplifting to you. Now the young understands a certain type of thing because that's their thing. Now the old, we think a thing. We, like most of us, we were raised in Christianity, and we look at all those other songs, or some of the songs that would be beneficial to what we understand at this moment in day and time. And it could be like a soothing ointment, a song, a word, or just some music. Yes, it can be. And she continued to sing these words, and Jacob listened and pleased him, and the Spirit of God was upon him. The Spirit of God can never get in you. You are unclean. This is a clean spirit. God is the Spirit. He gave him, it's something else that God can impart his Spirit to other people, just a portion. Small little bit of his spirit. Either can kill you or can make you alive. Woo! My God. We don't understand the mystery of God, but the mystery of God shall be revealed. We shall know who he is. We say he because in many instances he's nurturing, but yet he's a lawgiver. He deals in absolutes. He deals in those things that are legality. And unwavering is his way. Yes. And while he was yet speaking with her, behold, his sons came to him with horses and chariots and royal garments and servants running before them. What happened here? And Jacob rose up to meet them and saw his sons dressed in royal garments, and he saw all the treasures that Joseph had sent to them. Now you have to realize that a lot of Israelites have learned the way of Egypt, even the way that they dressed. Yes, they had certain things. I don't know why you're going to be even fooled by this other stuff. Don't make no sense. They might have a distinction in the way they dressed. They were farmers. They had to get in, but they had a way that they dressed them, and you couldn't really tell between them and the Egyptians, to tell you the truth. You couldn't tell unless you really understood. There might have been some distinctions, but not very little, because 400 years with a people, that's just like we being this time in this land, to come out, all those that are of Jacob. You couldn't tell them from the basic American, or should I say those who are dark brown Americans. You cannot. You couldn't tell them. You can walk through Africa or you can walk through Mexico. You couldn't tell them, oh, those are Americans. But, but they don't know that you're children of Jacob. That's why you're hidden. You're hidden Hebrews, hidden children of Israel, hidden amongst the dark nations. And while he was yet speaking, and Jacob rose up to meet them, and he saw his sons dressed in royal garments, and he saw the treasures that Joseph had sent to them. And they said unto him, be informed that our brother Joseph is living, and it is he who ruleth throughout the land of Egypt. Daddy, listen. And it is he who spoke to us as we told thee. And Jacob heard all the words of his sons, and his heart palpitated. I mean, it beat fast when it says palpitated. Palpitated, yes, palpitated, a palpitating heart. I mean, beating so fast, the man could have died right then. And their words, for he could not believe them until he saw that Joseph had given them what he had sent them, and all the signs which Joseph had spoken unto them. And they opened out before him, and he showed him all that Joseph sent. And they gave unto each what Joseph had sent them. And he knew that they had spoken truth, and he rejoiced exceedingly an account of his son. Yeah, I got all my babies now. I got all my sons. You're still a baby. I don't care if you're 50 years old and your father's 90. Doesn't matter. And Jacob said, it's enough for me that my son Joseph is still living, and I will go and see him before I die. And his sons told him all that had befallen them. And Jacob said, I will go down to Egypt to see my son and his offspring. Yeah. And Jacob rose up and put on the garments with, oh man, it looked good, man. Ooh. Take a picture. Yeah. And it says, Jacob rose up and put on the garments which Joseph had sent him, and after it he had washed and shaved his hair. Oh, this man wanted to get clean. Now, I'm looking good, y'all. I'm looking good. And he put on his head the turban. Yes. Couldn't tell him from an Egyptian. No, you couldn't. Which Joseph had sent him. And all the people of Jacob's house and their wives put on their garments which Joseph had sent them. And they greatly rejoiced at Joseph that he was still living and that he was ruling in Egypt. Oh, wow. I mean, these people were in a roar. And all the inhabitants of Canaan heard of this thing, and they came and rejoiced much with Jacob that he was still living. Because Jacob had done a lot for the people of Canaan, even though they were in the wrong place. God even had mercy upon them in many ways, but eventually we're going to find out that their sin even reached to heaven. Just like many of you here that have been brought over. Because many of, if you believe it or not, many of those of you call yourself natural, you hear, many of you are just plain old Hamites that have been here before the Mongolians, before all these other people. You're Hamites. Many are Hamites. This is why you see the artifacts throughout the Grand Canyon. They're trying to cover it up. Hamites. Let's continue. We'll get into that one day. Story for other days, as they say. And Jacob made a feast for them for 3 days. All the kings of Canaan and nobles of the land ate and drank and rejoiced in the house of Jacob. They had a party, all dressed up, elegant looking. See, this is why a lot of the people, even though, see, these are Hamites. We're really symbiotes. But the fact is that we come from a different father, although from one father. We come from the sons of those fathers. And the fact is that we fight amongst each other. Now, this is the way that it should be, because the wrath of God is still upon, the chastisement of God is still upon us. It never left. It only leaves when you leave your sin. He said he's going to even make you forget of him. Look what you're doing. Even you accepted this Esau and all the lies that is told about the prophet that came, whatever his name is. You still taking on the ways and the lies that have come. Even those of you that are of the children of these colonizers and priests and monks and all this, they did it to control you. Isn't this, you go back to the book of the discoverers, and then they talk about you got all kind of things. You got even the destruction of black civilizations, and from Egypt to Timbuktu or something like that. That's the way it goes. Yes, I've read it. Been a while, but anyway. All these books that only show you that you're still under wrath and you still haven't got it. And many of you won't get it. You're going to still be hostile toward God. But God is going to destroy you anyway. So enjoy yourself. But now here are the Canaanites. They were people that had been chastised even by the children of Jacob. And what happened? Here they are rejoicing because they knew their father Abraham had done them a great service. He built in the middle of the road of the land that he bought, Abraham built a vineyard, and in those who need food and clothes, he clothed them anyway, regardless of who they came from or what tribe they belonged to. He didn't care. This Afrocentric Negroid man took care of people. This is what God is about. But God is not going to stand your mess. He will destroy you down to your tiny infant. Does that make him evil, or that make you're evil and that you have to receive your just recompense? Huh? Come on here. Make a buck and make it make sense. You get angry at God. How can you get angry at the power? I mean, he doesn't need the weaponry of men. No, not in the least. That's nothing. But he used those things to bring fear in you, that you might respect him, that you might see and know that beside him there is no other God, although there are other gods all over the place, so that men have made, and they made themselves. These are spirits, fallen spirits that were before God. But anyway, they had a party even with their enemies. God had made them at peace, even Jacob at peace with them. And they all began to rejoice, always finding something to party about. You see the connection here. You see how God is doing things. You see, not even from the beginning, even to now, God had made a thing where many of you just have a party. You might have a cookout and say, hey, come on, let's have a good time. I don't care who you are. Just come on in and get you something to eat. This is the way God is. This is the way Abraham was. That family down the street, we got a box of clothes that we can't wear. Let's get him. They starving. Let's give them something. Yes, even when I was little, there were people that gave us clothes, that gave us things, and they were people of our same hue. They had something, but they couldn't wear it, or they had something that that they went and bought something because they knew that a family was in distress. See, this is why you got to always leave your heart open and get that judgmental spirit about your brother and your sister out the way. Yes, she played the harlot and got different baby daddies and different all this stuff, but so what? She still have needs. These children are fatherless. Maybe by her fault or by the fault of the daddies, but they are fatherless. You still have to help them. They didn't come in this world of their own invention. Don't mean you hate her, but for the kid's sake, yeah. And that kid will grow up knowing the hospitality of those that have caused them to be in the place that they are. And not to an evil intention. Some give you things and then they want to get a favor back once they give you something. This is what you must discern for yourself and pray about. So therefore, we cannot hate each other. We cannot cause each other to be downtrodden because of things that have happened. And always think that this is still my kinsman in some form or way. Some of them will never think that way because they're sneered, they're stamped by a devil in their minds and just the curse of their family, the hatred they have towards you. Or you might have that hatred that has been stamped in your heart toward those that are not or don't look like you or that don't have the same status as you or too dark or too light or whatever. That's not God's way. Jesus didn't bring this into that world. This was already into the world that he said, love your neighbor as yourself. Didn't he say that? Even God said these things. See, they done pulled a good one over you to control you. Well, you don't even stretch a hand up at the priest or preacher and you sit up there and they can molest your daughters and your sons and do all kind of evil acts, take your money, and then begin to tell you, pray. Okay, and with that, we're going to say, think about it. As my brother says, shout out to him. Think about it. And with that, we're going to say, peace, shalom.
Walk with me.